I have 5 takeaways from Dave Castro interviewing games athletes. Let's get into it. Hey, do me a favor, before we get started, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you don't miss any new content coming out here on the channel. So let's catch up on these interviews that Dave Castro's been doing. Dave's made a commitment to interview all 80 athletes leading into the games, and they've been really revealing in a lot of the things he's talked about. That's where we first found out about Chad being a games event when he was interviewing Emily Roth. And as I've been watching some of the other episodes, I've noticed a few things that I think are really intriguing to me and maybe tells of what he's thinking for either events or even future games. So let's start with Jay Crouch. So at the end of each of these interviews, he's asking for questions from the athletes. And Jay asked a question about the outdoor event at Farrington Field. Listen to Dave's answer here.
But is there anything that makes you, I don't know, not nervous, but sort of unsure, event wise? Not even this year, but just over the years?
Oh yeah, for sure. We do testing the week of because there's some elements you won't have to play with until we get there. So, even the track events that we're doing at Farrington Field.
Did you catch that? Dave referred to it as a track event. Now, I don't know what that means, but I think it could be pretty cool. You could get sprints, you could get 400 repeats, 800s, cross country, you name it. But I think a track event outdoors, under the lights, they're not dealing with the ridiculous Texas heat. Although it will be hot, it won't be the crazy heat. I think could really add a dynamic to the games. Along those same lines, it looked like Ricky Garard had a similar concern about Friday Night Lights. Listen to this one.
I'm interested to see what we're gonna do Friday night at the track.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. Is it more than one event?
I can't give too much yet, but I'll say this: that's a good question. You are asking the right question.
Interesting, you didn't get a direct answer, but I think it's pretty cool to think that you might get more than one event outside, and that'll be great for the fans, particularly since this is going to be an open air and free to the public event. So check out this question from Saxon Panchek. So this was put on my radar by Mike Halpin, who runs Known and Knowable. You guys really need to follow Mike. He does fantastic work and comes up with all the great stats. Saxon and Dave had a really interesting conversation around teams.
Would you ever consider doing team in the off season and letting individuals make their own teams and do both?
Yeah. Yes. I guess I've never really talked about it, but I thought, I guess this is the first time I thought about seriously separating the teams completely from the game.
Yeah.
And just the games or just the individual athletes. And that is definitely things I'm thinking about and we're thinking about as a team and doing the team at another phase. And so again, guys like you could do both if you wanted to.
So I think this is a really cool idea, breaking teams away from the games, allowing individual athletes to join teams and compete. I think can be great for the brand. It can be great for the sport and bluntly help these athletes find extra ways to earn income. So defending champ Laura Horvath had a really interesting question about where the games are going to be held. Are they going to stay in Texas or go to Europe? Let's see what Dave had to say.
Are you planning on staying in Texas for longer than a year?
Probably a couple of years at least.
Yeah. And are you still thinking of coming to Europe?
Yes, for sure. I really hope that's the plan. I hope everything can fall in place for that to happen. I would like the 21st games, the 21st year of the games to be in Europe.
What is it now? Which year? It's like
It's
the best
18.
ever? 18? Ah, sweet. So I'll probably still be competing by then.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the 18th year of the CrossFit Games. Next year will be the 19th, the year after the 20th, and then maybe for the 21st, take it overseas.
This was a really interesting answer to me for a number of reasons. Number one, I think it's obviously very cool to want to hold the games in Europe. But the bigger question for me is the 3-year time frame. We're already pushing kind of the edge of the envelope of when private equity should want to be selling CrossFit. So 3 years from now, they absolutely should be right at that threshold of having this thing ready to sell. And so it's an interesting concept to think you'd have such a huge upheaval or change in the games format by moving it overseas right around the same time they should be looking for a potential buyer. Pretty interesting. And the last question comes from my all-time favorites, and I think this is the best of the 5 questions. Hayley Adams.
Any questions for me?
Do you like Star Wars?
I do, but I'm not. I really do like. I like the old school ones because I'm older. I'm not too much of a fan of the more recent ones. I did like the new trio that after the original. I like the Sith and all of those guys. But some of the new stuff on Disney, I'm not a fan of. But the old school stuff, I really did like. And yes, so I am a fan of Star Wars.
Okay, that's a good answer.
All right, Dave. I don't know what to do with you, bro. No Mandalorian, no Bad Batch, no Clone Wars, the animated. I mean, seriously. This is why you blocked me, isn't it? It has to be. Anyway, I don't get it. Well, in any event, I love these interviews. I hope Dave keeps doing them. I love all the insights we're getting from the athletes and from Dave himself. So super exciting stuff. Thanks for joining, and may the force be with you.